Hey, we have the new Wadsworth High School football coach, Justin Todd, on the phone with us. Good morning, Justin.
Morning, Tom. How are you this morning?
Good. I've got Joe Jastrzemski and Tina Heiberg in the studio with me here this morning.
Well, congratulations, Justin, and welcome to town.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. This is a dream come true for me and my family. So we're looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. How did you come to find Grizzly Town, and then what made you want to come here to coach?
Interestingly enough, my wife's grandparents have lived in Wadsworth for the last 30-some years, really since, as long as I've known my wife. Her and I have dated since junior high, believe it or not. And so we've spent, different holidays up through the Wadsworth area and really just always looked at Wadsworth as a place that her and I could have seen each other ending up. And certainly had a lot of respect for the Wadsworth football tradition, the things that Coach Dennison did, and the tough kids, and just the community as a whole. So we've always had an admiration for the community. Once the position came open, the timing wasn't really good because I had just taken a job at Mount Vernon. But my wife and I, we prayed about it a lot, and we thought, boy, this is just an opportunity that if I don't attempt to obtain this position, I may regret it for the rest of my life because this job only comes open once every 21 years.
Well, and the other thing, Justin, we have is we have the Bags is that we're in charge of the Salvation Army down there. They're now in Wadsworth here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so
they just moved up here, so it seems like Mount Vernon's kind of migrating toward Wadsworth here.
Well,
it's a great place to be, so I'm looking forward to it.
Where exactly is Mount Vernon? About how far away from Wadsworth are you?
Well, I actually live in a small residential area called Apple Valley, which is about 10 miles east of Mount Vernon. So it's about an hour and 20 minutes away. So as you travel down Route 3, everybody kind of knows where Mohican or Loudonville is at. And Mount Vernon is right down the middle of Route 3. So it's really centralized in Ohio. It's in Knox County. About an hour north of Columbus and probably an hour and a half away from Wadsworth.
Well, now I know exactly where I'm. You're really good with directions. I assume then this is...
I better be a good teacher. So.
Because I was going to say, I assume this is how you'll be on the field. I can see the scouting boards or the play boards.
Very detailed.
Yeah, Justin, if you dated your wife since junior high, does that mean either or both of you may have grown up in this area or not necessarily?
No, so my father, he and his family were born and raised in Canton. And my mom, her and her family were born and raised in Alliance. I went to Mount Union. So I have a lot of ties to Northeast Ohio. A lot of my college friends are still in Northeast Ohio, and really a lot of family is surrounded. And, I've got a lot of family that live in Medina County, not necessarily Wadsworth, but in the area or just south of it in Canton. So we know the area pretty well, not necessarily Wadsworth, but around the area. And like I said, her grandpa still lives in Wadsworth. And so, we've spent plenty of time in Northeast Ohio or Medina County.
Gotcha, Justin. Justin, I got to tell you, you said the wrong words here. We got to tell you this. See, Tom is a Mount Union graduate, and when he heard,
I tell you what, that's one intelligent man. Right?
No, careful. His ego is big enough.
So, Justin, you can do everything wrong, and you will have one supporter no matter what in this town.
That saying that Raiders stick together. Right?
Exactly. You played a little ball for Mount Union too, didn't you, Justin?
I did. Yeah. You know what? I was blessed to be a part of that program, the coaching staff, the things that they've done. It was an amazing opportunity. Just the discipline, the structure. You learn so much more than just X's and O's when you were there. It really was a family atmosphere. Everybody looked out for one another. It's truly one of a kind place to play football, and really when you look at the development of the campus and the educational system, it's really it's a pinnacle of obviously football, but really the educational system in Ohio.
Wanted to ask you, have you met any of the Wadsworth Grizzly players yet? And if not, that's fine. I want to ask you too what you bring to the table in terms of maybe your coaching style, without giving away any of your plays, of course.
Oh, that's okay. They'll all see my plays at some point. But you know what? I've really only met one young man, and that was last Saturday, the youth organization had a coaching clinic that weekend, and they brought some younger kids in. And so I just kind of wanted to see what it was all about. I was extremely impressed by the organization of the youth program and the fact that they were doing football in February. I loved it. It brought a huge smile to my face. And, but one of the young players came by and introduced himself, and so I got to spend about a half hour, 45 minutes speaking to him. And so I'm going to meet the players next week once I'm actually officially board approved. I'm going to meet all of them on Tuesday, so I can't wait to meet them and get started working with them. As far as what I'm going to bring, I think I'm just going to bring a lot of energy, and you're going to see a family atmosphere. You're going to see some really hardworking kids. I can tell you that. That's something that we demand out of our program. But with that being said, I think that we do a great job of also rewarding our kids for the effort that they put in, because I recognize that there's a lot of other things that they can do, and football is not the easiest thing that you can do. So we really reward the kids for their effort and their dedication to the program and the school.
I can tell your energy already, and I really, really like that. Now, we have all the coaches up here. We've talked to many of them, and and I like to ask this question, and so I want to ask you too. It's not all about winning, is it?
No, it's not. You know what? And if you make it all about winning, you'll be without a job pretty quick. Because kids are so intelligent, they can see through that. If you're just about the X's and O's and the wins and the losses, if you don't do the other things that are required to build a great foundational program, the foundation has to be built on something really solid. And if it's just about wins and losses, then that foundation will crumble pretty quick. So that's the last thing that we talk about. Certainly, I also recognize that if I don't win, you'll be talking to somebody else in a couple of years. But I think the wins take care of themselves when you do the little things correct. And so we just try to create an atmosphere of family, of guys relying on one another, recognizing that the name on the front of the jersey is so much more important than the name on the back. And so once our kids start to believe that, and not that they don't believe that already, but once they really start to buy into that notion and that philosophy, I think you'll see good things happen on the field.
It's 8:19 in the morning here on 97.1 Wadsworth Community Radio. And again, on the phone with us, we have the Wadsworth Grizzlies football coach, Justin Todd. Justin, when you were at Mount, that was what, Larry Karras, Don Montgomery days?
It was, yeah. Yep. They Coach Karras, obviously the head coach, ran the offense, and Coach Bonnie ran the defense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Justin, how much of what those guys did at Mount Union have you carried into your coaching philosophy?
Quite a bit from a philosophical standpoint, not necessarily a schematical standpoint. I would say that what we do offensively is is very similar to what they do now, but not what they did when I was there. When I was there, it was a pro-style offense. But now we're doing a lot of the things that you would see if you watched Mount Union on a Saturday now. So as far as schematical things, didn't really take away a lot other than maybe practice structure and organization. But the most important thing that you learn as a Mount Union player is, Mount Union has great football players. There's no question about it. But those players, they live for one another. They live to watch one another succeed. There's no ego involved. It's so much more about team than it is about me. And those are the things that you carry away from Mount Union. And that's why you see a lot of successful football coaches come from the Mount Union tree, but also just successful people in life, because they've been able to take a lot of the things that were instilled in the players from that program, and then they carry them on throughout their life.
Justin, you're replacing, I dare say a legend here. You've already alluded to Coach Dennison having been here for 21 years and deciding to step aside. What's it like replacing? You're going to be replacing a guy who obviously has had over 140 some odd wins here, playoff appearances. And that is it hard to knowing you're replacing a guy who's been a great coach here?
Well, I've heard the saying, you never want to be the man that replaces the man.
The man, right?
But I don't necessarily buy into that notion, just simply because I look at it as a benefit. The fact that the community of Wadsworth is football crazy, and I love that. They love their football, and when you already have that tremendous community support and pride, that that really alleviates some of the things that a football coach has to do. And obviously I need to continue that and really try to advance it in my own way. But I don't think it's hard. I'm not going to compare myself to Coach Dennison, and that wouldn't be fair for anybody to do that, to me. I just think that I'm confident enough in the program that we run that we're going to be successful with our kids on and off the field. But again, I look at it as a blessing and a bonus, having had a coach that did so many things the right way. It's not like I'm coming into that program and I have to change discipline issues and I have to change a whole bunch of attitudes. I mean, that's not the case here. Wadsworth is a respected program, and so that's going to not make my job any easier, but it kind of alleviates some of the things that maybe you would do in a program that you had to go in and completely build from scratch.
Right. Yeah. This year, as you'll lose a lot of seniors, you'll have a lot of younger classmen. As Tom knows, that we have a lot of juniors coming, or sophomores, soon to be juniors coming in. Well, I guess at any high school level, Justin, here you have to teach the game too. Other than trying to prepare for a game, you have to teach these young men as well how to, as you mentioned to Tina, kind of the bigger picture here.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a ton of learning to do because, there will be a new offensive philosophy. There will be a new defensive philosophy. I know that those kids have been well coached, so fundamentals transfer. It doesn't matter what system you run. Fundamentals are going to transfer from one program to the other. So that's, there's already been a good foundation laid. I think what's important for us is that we scour the hallways, we figure out which kids haven't been playing and why, and then try to bring them on board. Meshing the old regime with the new regime. There's going to be a lot of transition, but I think that we're going to put together a really good coaching staff, and I think that we're going to make that transition as smooth as possible.
That's right. And Tom, what was it? 7th and 8th grade won the.
They did.
They won the Suburban League championships.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were both undefeated.
Yep.
Both undefeated seasons in those younger kids coming up. Absolutely, yes.
So,
and I don't put a lot of stock in record at the junior high level, but what I do see, I think that winning breeds winning. And so the fact that these kids have, they've experienced and they've tasted success, what's going to be my job is to make sure that these kids continue to stay hungry and stay motivated. Because, I've seen it before, unfortunately, where kids will have success at junior high and they're so celebrated, that's the pinnacle of their careers. So it's important that they recognize that, winning at the junior high level is great, but what's more important than that are the fundamentals that you learned, the fun that you had, and the team that was built. So that's going to be my big job with those kids.
Justin, you're in the Suburban League, which is obviously, we have, Hudson, Stowe, Twinsburg, Brecksville, teams that are playoff tested, and that you're also getting into a conference that plays some pretty good football.
No question about it, and that was appealing to me because I know that you're looking at some of the best teams in the state, year in and year out. You're looking at teams that are going to compete for regional titles. And you're going to have to play football at a really high level, and that's exciting to me. I've been able to find bits and pieces of some Wadsworth film from last year, and while things started off rocky, those kids continue to compete all year long, and that's a testament, one, to the coaching staff and being able to keep those kids going, but number two, more importantly, to the kids, because there was a no give up attitude, and that's exciting to me.
It's almost like coming, as far as this being a sports town and a football town, it's almost like coming into Cleveland Browns territory where, you come into a program and you have that fan support right there automatically built in. At least that portion of it, you don't have to develop yet. It's already there.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's appealing to me when we talk about, taking over for a legend like Coach Dennison. It's appealing to me that portion is already there. At Mount Vernon this past year, it's not a football town, and it never has been known as a football town. They've had minimal success, and I had to spend so much time just drumming up support for our kids, and the community responded really well. but it took a lot of effort just to try to, hey, by the way, there's football season coming up, and feel free to come out and watch the kids. So that took a lot of time. The fact that there's already that support there is very nice.
When that excitement goes year round too, because of course right now, Justin, the girls are in the playoffs here, and just as a small example, we had a picture that I took at the district championship. We've got like 14,000 hits on Facebook on that picture. So I mean, it's shared. People know it. People really follow the kids, and like you said, you get out there with the girls, because again, we've been following them a little bit closer. That it's like a family, and it seems like it permeates throughout all the sports.
No question. It's interesting that you said that. My grandfather, or my wife's grandfather, had called the other night after the girls had beat, I think they beat Brunswick maybe, over Berea, or maybe they beat Berea.
Mm-hmm.
And he called and just, randomly decided he was going to go to a girls' basket. So what's so neat and appealing to my wife and I is the fact that it doesn't matter. It just seems like the school, Wadsworth City Schools, and the students and the student athletes that are within that district, they're kind of the fabric that holds the community together. And that's so appealing to an educator and to a football coach. I love it.
Well, if any of your relatives are up at North Royalton tonight at the game, have them stop over. Joe and I are going to be there broadcasting the game. Have them come over and introduce themselves to us.
You know what? I bet he's going to be on his way.
Well, I'll tell you what. Have him stop over. I mean, we're pretty obvious there. We're the guys with the headphones on the radio, and have him stop over. It'd be a privilege to meet and talk to him.
All I know is I feel like Wadsworth really picked a winner with you, Justin. It's fun listening to you. You're engaged when you talk. You engage me, and what I really appreciate is your passion. I can really get a feel for that. It makes me really excited for high school football to begin.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm excited year round about high school football, so I can't help but get a little anxious when I talk about football. It's a great game.
Tina, he reminds me a lot of Drew Saylor, and I know you're doing that. Drew is he's a manager in the Dodgers organization, and he has kind of the same passion you have, Justin, which is great to see. Are you going to be able to be in the building every day, or are you going to be teaching at the high school or at one of the schools?
Or you're not commuting an hour and 20 minutes away, are you? I mean, that's your decision.
You know what? No, we're actually, my wife and I we're getting ready to put our house down here on the market, and then once we get that sold, we're looking at homes in the Wadsworth area right now. Need to get our house sold, and then, our objective is to be up there no later than July. Worst case scenario, I'm going to be hanging out with Grandpa quite a bit.
There you go.
Aw, how fun!
That's not worst case scenario.
Right.
He's a great guy, and we like watching games together. So, but no, for the time being, as I continue out my contract at Mount Vernon, I will be doing a lot of commuting. That's something that I knew. I'll be driving up there 3 or 4 times a week, but I'm okay with that because recognizing that this is a process, and I know that the end is going to be there pretty quick when we're actually able to be in Wadsworth.
Right. Well, if you ever need a port in the storm other than Grandpa's house, you can stop up here too to see us.
I appreciate that.
Right.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Can you teach at the high school, Justin, or not?
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, I know that there's at this point, I think that the plan is I'm definitely going to be in the school district,
okay,
and hopefully going to be at the high school.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Justin, we have it's been a joy. I mean, we've had a lot of people who've wanted to at least hear what you're all about, and I think that you have. Really exceeded expectations here, I think, without a doubt.
Yeah, you're inspiring, and I think that you're going to inspire the kids on the field, too. I'm really anxious to see you come here and just welcome you to Grizzly Town.
Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, we can't be more anxious, more excited. Just feel really blessed. We just feel really blessed that we're going to have this opportunity.
Well, Justin, thank you. We're going to ask you to hang on. We're going to go to music, and we're going to ask you to hang on. And we are going to be right back here on Wadsworth Community Radio, and Tom's going to hit the music button.
Go 97.1 Wadsworth Community Radio.